to come up with a couple ideas here so that the public is aware of this. And I hear what you're saying, and I agree with you. I know there needs to be transparency. But what, for example, what happens when there's a police shooting? When there's a police officer involved, there's a different committee that's formed, district attorney, outside law enforcement. You know, we'll have something like this. Internal affairs, what is it? How does that work? And things of this nature. OIR, the function, what are their functions? How can the member of the public, if need be able to access them? I mean, how to file complaints. Things on the website that will help increase our transparency. And I think a lot of people, you know, we know that the chief is the chief of in charge of the department, but I think a lot of people may not be aware of that the city manager actually is the chief's boss. And so I think if we have a work session solely dedicated to this, let's put a focus on this to allow various individuals so that they can share some of their concerns and see how we might be able to better work with the community and increase that transparency and their interaction and such. So you've got my commitment on that. Councilor Bencomo.
Thanks, Mayor. Yeah, I guess I'll start with that first. What do I say? You know, I come from a community organizing background. Before getting to council, I did a lot of work around and was in communication and relationship with people across the country, doing a lot of work on police accountability. And I came on this council feeling like that was a priority for me, and it has only increased since been here because there have been very, in my opinion, many high-profile cases that should not have happened ever. And to be really honest with all of you, I have been outspoken about my support for police reforms, for police accountability policies, and it has been very alienating. It has been very isolating to be publicly spoken about this because people can't seem to separate that that police accountability isn't the same as, you know, me deeply supporting officers and wishing they're safe and they return home. People cannot separate those two things. To me, those two things are very different. And so it has been very isolating to be publicly spoken about this. And in doing so, I have a lot of relationships with people in the community, advocates in the community who not only center people who are directly impacted, but have relationships with people who are directly impacted, like CAFE and the ACLU and Local Progress. And in my conversations, I've gone back and forth on supporting something like this because I have felt overwhelmed by policing issues. I have felt often like we are not doing enough to change culture. And in having these conversations with advocates, I realized that policies like this, unfortunately, are superficial. And I want real change. I want change that is meaningful. I want change that will save lives. I want change that will keep officers safe. And ordinances like this just are not proven to work across the country. They're not. But I still want to see real policies and real changes. And I still want to have public conversations. And I think we are afraid. I think there is, again, this huge misconception, and we can't seem to separate these two ideas. But I want public conversations. I want to have public town halls, work sessions, whatever it is, to figure out a better way for communities to feel safer, for people in this community to feel safer when it comes to police. And that is the truth. And I resent and push back against people who say, because I don't support this policy, that I do not care, because this is the one issue that keeps me up at night since I've been on this council. And so I just want to push back on that and say that I am actually incredibly open and have been for the last 3 years around having these conversations. And I will continue to be, as you know, I speak with IFO about these things. And so I will say that, and I will stop there because I can certainly get on a soapbox.